when I was at Manheim Central, I did teach, it was 20th century US history. That was the ninth grade required course. I really enjoyed that. The course I teach now is kind of the beginning of American history, right before the Revolutionary War to the time period Reconstruction, right after the Civil War, which is probably my second favorite class to teach. Now, my father was a social studies teacher for 36 years, retired. But when I got into junior high, 7th and 8th grade, I had a lot of good role models who were teachers. I can remember some of my favorite English teachers, some of my favorite social studies teachers. Those were probably my two favorite subjects, English and social studies. And it continued when I got to high school. And I saw the impact that these people were having on my life and the impact that they were having on numerous other students' lives. So when I went to Millersville, I went with no major, and I went 2 years like that. And then I thought to myself, well, I want to get into education to be one of these role models. And I thought to myself, I don't want to be just like my father, which looking back, I probably should have realized I did. So I went as an English education with a history minor. And then I'm like, I love my minor classes way better than the major. So I flip-flopped. I graduated with a social studies degree with a concentration in history and an English minor.
You know, it's funny you say that. And when you talk to teachers, that's kind of the typical path, right? Somebody and one of their teachers inspired them, right? And I'll even say teaching at the collegiate level, that's what it was for me, admiring these teachers and this knowledge and the way they would package it. That sparked an interest. Now, I didn't ever think to get into teaching per se, but for me, that inspiration happened more so at the college level, looking at my professors. And then sure enough, even though it's not my full-time job, teaching, that's what led me into teaching at the college level. My thing, I was always a little scared of doing it at the scholastic level and dealing with some of the behavioral issues and all that. And at the college level, at least they're more adult and you don't have to deal with that element. It brings us other issues, but you know, not that kind of the high school, high school element. What are some of the biggest ways that from when you started and what you're required to do and have to do has changed to how you have to approach and do your job and what you're required to do for your job now?
Well, right off the bat, technology. Probably there was as much technology change in my first 15 years as there's been in my last 2 years. And, you know, with our advancing very often technology, that's been a big game changer, game influencer, you know, making my job easier and at the same time a little more difficult. Because instead of getting a phone message that a parent would call me or to talk or whatever, you know, there's an email at 9:07 in the morning. And, you know, if I don't respond by 10:15, even though I might be teaching the whole time, you know, I might, you know, get a follow-up email. So technology has been a huge positive change. Again, for that communication, for student information, a student who, you know, wants to present in a different way, then, you know, we don't get up and stand up in front of the classroom maybe as much as we used to. So technology has been a huge change. I'd say I'm right in the middle. I have colleagues they're constantly on the cutting edge of everything, and their digital skills toolbox is overflowing. I tried to pick out things that I thought were going to be important and useful for me and really gain the knowledge for those things. You know, keeping my online digital gradebook, having my, you know, classroom management system up to date for easy access. And I see it just like you said, I have colleagues who are still a little slow in the process, and I can see how they struggle. So I'm kind of right in the middle. And I was fortunate. I had a principal and then a department lead person who maybe once a month we would meet and, you know, what's one new thing you can try? And if there's 8 people in the social studies department, maybe 5 people shared something they're trying. And I might be like, okay, there's 1 or 2 things there that I don't know about that I'm going to try out.
Right.
And junior high, middle school is a little unique. You know, grade point averages don't count for college applications yet. So we have the luxury, especially in social studies, which isn't a state required testing subject, we can try things out. If I want to use some sort of new review gaming or some sort of new presentation method, just to see how it works. Sometimes things go great. Sometimes they kind of fall flat. Just go with the flow a little bit.